Hi, welcome to Littleton Common. I'm Barbara McRae. It's February, so happy Valentine's Day, everyone. Just wanted to show you a picture I took in January. Couldn't resist because it was so beautiful, and what a month that was. The earthquake in Haiti was devastating, and there were more aftershocks. I know many of you here in Littleton donated to that cause. My son called to tell me that Georgia had snow a whole inch and that his daughter had time off from school. My brother called from California to tell me that they were having rain for weeks, causing floods, mudslides, and tornadoes. And that was just in January. So New England doesn't look so bad after all, you think? We did have some excitement here in our small town. Scott Brown came to speak to a crowd of over 600 people, and the next Tuesday became our new U.S. Senator. Congratulations to him. Hope he can help in Washington. Senator Eldridge will be at the Townhouse in room 230 on March 18th. Hopefully we will be able to chat with him when he is here. But why don't you come in and talk to him? Don't leave him sitting here alone. This is your chance to ask questions or just say hi. He is giving us a bit of his time. Take advantage of that. He has things to do, places to go, and people to meet, but he is coming here to spend a little time with us. So come on down. Taxes are due. Remember, we have assistance here at the Council on Aging for you seniors and low-income taxpayers. Tony Jasinski will be here each Tuesday in February, or rather February through April, and will help you get it done. If you need help, call 978-540-2470 for an appointment. If you have insurance questions or problems, our Shine officer Bob Selling is here with a wealth of information for you seniors. It's a free, confidential healthcare information, and Bob gives us assistance and counseling and service to elders and other Medicare beneficiaries. So call the office at 978-540-2470 for an appointment. Now, both of these men, Bob and Tony, are very good at what they do, and they're very happy to talk to you. Tina Mader's Living Alone support group will meet on Thursday, February 18th. Wellness coach Rita Biagioni has invited you to her center on Stephen Street to introduce you to her program on living healthy and staying active. If you're alone and wish to join this group, call Tina at 540-2472 and let her know you're interested in attending. The blood pressure clinic is February 9th at 11 to noon in the senior diner. No outreach at Pine Tree Park this month, but look for it again on March 25th. We have a new podiatrist coming to our clinic. Dr. Weekland will be here on Wednesday, February 24th from 1 to 2 p.m. You can call 540-2470 to make an appointment. And now, here's Gail Dalton at the Senior Diner with the February menu. Hi, Gail.
Hello, Barbara. For the month of February, down at the diner, let's see, on February 10th, we'll have the birthday lunch. So if anyone's birthdays are in the month of February, COA will provide a birthday cake, and Minuteman Senior Services will provide a free lunch. So make sure you call me to set up a date to come in. And on the 11th will be the ladies' breakfast. And on the 17th will be the men's breakfast. We will be closed on the 15th because that's President's Day. And during that, I don't know when, but Minuteman will be having a special luncheon, and you have to watch for it in either the bulletin or the menus when they come out. Okay, they usually will have something like roast beef for the Valentine's luncheon. So hope to see. Oh, and last month, winner for the basket was Charlotte Starr again. She said she won it 6 months ago, but we think she won it a couple of months ago, so we have to keep our tabs on her. So just come on down, okay?
The diner lunch menus are really quite good. More of you should come and enjoy what Gail is doing for you. It's a healthy lunch and another way of meeting with your friends or making new ones. I know some of you hate the senior word, but we are seniors, and one way to be a young senior is to get out and stay active. As I mentioned, Rita Biagioni must believe it because she is giving lectures on it. So one way to stay active is to come to the lunch. It's only 1 hour of your time, but a fulfilling one. Gail and her friends will be so happy to see you. Also, the men's and ladies' breakfasts need a food shopper. We have cooks, but we need someone who can go to the store and buy the eggs and the bread and all that good stuff. It's paid for by the COA, so it's not out of your pocket. You will get a list, so no guessing necessary. And our other volunteers will appreciate it so very much. Call Carolyn Sloboda at 540-2470 if you can do this job. How can we get you excited about the Wii game? It's not hard, and if you're curious, come in and watch. Men and women are welcome. Right now, a few ladies are bowling, but there is golf, tennis, and even boxing games. All of this on a 52-inch television screen. It is great exercise without really exerting yourself, and a lot of laughs. You can even sit and play Wii. Come in any Friday at 10 a.m. and put a little fun in your day. The Explorers Club is showing a movie in February. There are so many good ones right now, we aren't sure what to get. Have you got any ideas? The Proposal was a hit with our explorers, and Sandra Bullock received an award for The Blind Side. So come to room 230 on February 25th at 1 o'clock for a movie and dessert. And that's after lunch at the diner. Now here's Evanthea Velakis with news from Indian Hill.
Thanks, Barbara. And it's going to be a great month here at Indian Hill in February, and so many wonderful things to tell you, but let me just start with this. The Orchestra of Indian Hill has a really special concert on Saturday, February 13, 7:30 p.m. at Littleton High School. We have the world's leading Native American flutist. His name is R. Carlos Nakai, N-A-K-I-E. And again, he plays Native American flute, and Maestro Hangen has invited him to be our guest on February 13 concert, and he'll be playing selections on the Native American flute with the orchestra. Plus, there'll be a really great mix of pieces that night, an excerpt from Beethoven's Pastoral Symphony, Jupiter from Holst the Planets, and even an orchestral arrangement of John Lennon's piece Imagine. And that concert theme is called Of Peace and Harmony. And also, during the day on February 13th, we're having a Native American festival of dance and music and culture happening here at Indian Hill at 36 King Street, and that's going to be free activities from 10 to 2 p.m. that day. We've got the Wolf Cry Singers, a hand drumming group coming in, an exhibit from Fruitlands Museum, and all kinds of Native American related things going on. Again, February 13. You can find out more at 486-9524 or indianhillmusic.org. Okay, so more stuff going on in February. Our Acoustic Cafe for open mic for adults on Friday, February 5 from 7 to 10 here at Indian Hill. And we've got our monthly box lunch concert back on Thursday, February 18 at noon, and classical guitarist Barrett Strong will be performing with her friends. So another great box lunch concert on February 18. And it's also going to be a benefit wine dinner. Did you know that Indian Hill is celebrating its 25th anniversary this spring, actually in May, but we're kicking everything off on Friday, February 5 at 6:30 p.m. with a wine dinner over at Stonehenge Inn. And you can find out more about that online at indianhillmusic.org. So check us out and hope to see you here at Indian Hill.
Thank you, Eve. Some of you have been able to borrow the wheelchairs, bath seats, and other equipment from the Rotary's Loan Closet. If you are no longer using this equipment, please call Savastanos at 540-2222 to let him know. It seems like the loan closet is low at this time, and these items are in demand. So call that number, 540-2222, and have them pick up what you're not using. Joanne McCool of Life Care Center of Neshoba Valley will be instructing a 2-hour, 8-week session on a matter of balance. This is designed to reduce the fear of falling and increase the activity levels of anyone who has concerns about falling. Join Joanne on Friday, February 26th in the multi-purpose room here on Shattuck Street for this free program. The time is 9:30 to 11:30. Call 540-2470 to sign up. And don't forget to come into the thrift shop here on the second floor. We all find wonderful bargains there, and some of our working ladies are thrilled with the wardrobes they can put together. And they're telling me that they're envied for the outfits that they wear. We have some great menswear right now, so if you're job hunting and need a jacket to spiffy up your look, come in and see what we have any Monday through Friday, 10 to 3. Now, Lynn Lyford is back with us this month with news from Prouty Woods. Hi, Lynn.
Thank you, Barbara. I'm pleased to tell you that New England Forestry Foundation is going to be hosting a regional conference this June. The Harvard Forest out in Petersham, Massachusetts, has been working on a study looking at the forests of New England. How much forest land do we need to conserve to provide for clean water, clean air, some wonderful recreational opportunities for us today and for future generations? Their study is going to be the basis of our discussions at this regional conference. The conference is open to the public, so anyone can come. We encourage landowners, people who are interested in conservation, and anyone to join us. There'll be workshops, featured speakers, and the conference takes place Friday, June 4, at the Grapponi Conference Center, Concord, New Hampshire. The time is 9:30 to 3. If you're interested in attending and would like more information, please don't hesitate to call us here at New England Forestry, and the number is 978-952-6856. Again, that's 978-952-6856. Thank you, Barbara.
The Littleton Council on Aging Board has an interested party for the vacancy on their board. Barry Kershaw has applied and hopefully will be accepted. I believe that he was accepted, as a matter of fact. Barry is very qualified and also very interesting. I have talked to him about some programs he has to offer the seniors and to this show. Welcome, Barry. We will hear more about him in the near future. But right now, stay with us for our guests this month. Stoddard Melhado and his pal Ernie, Larry and Lynda Fisher and their friend Mosby Mac Fisher. Enjoy. Watching the local newscasts, I became interested in the stories about the greyhounds that need to be adopted. One call to Louise Coleman, the executive director of Greyhound Friends in Hopkinton, and I learned that one of her board members actually lived in Littleton. Another call, and voila, here's Ernie. And with Ernie is his best friend, Stoddard Melhado. Hi, Stoddard.
Hi, Barbara. Thanks for having us.
Well, thank you for bringing Ernie over here. Tell me, how long have you had Ernie? I guess you have about 4 greyhounds anyway, right?
We do. Ernie is one of 4 that we currently share our home with, and Ernie actually adopted me a year ago in April of 2008. So this coming April, he will have been with us for 2 years.
Oh, okay. Well, he's a pretty big guy. I really haven't been this close to greyhounds before, so I was kind of surprised. You know, really, I think he's beautiful, and I think I told you that looks like royalty.
He thinks he's beautiful too, and they are known sometimes as the tapestry dogs, the dogs that were the companions of kings and queens, and they were really the breed that accompanied the nobility for centuries.
Well, I read an article in this newsletter from the Greyhound Friends that it's called The Home Stretch, that you people put out, and you had a story in here that you had written about Ernie, and I loved it. It was so interesting.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was talking about how you had met him and, you know, decided that you'd like to adopt him. So, is it easy to adopt
Well,
Greyhound?
it is very easy. We have at the kennel many dogs up for adoption. Bringing a Greyhound into your home is a little bit different from bringing in a puppy, although they sometimes act like puppies because they've never had the opportunity to. There are a few things that are special about them. They have never been brought up in a home. They've spent their lives... He's a little anxious.
He's fine.
They've spent their lives at the track surrounded by other Greyhounds. So when you bring them in, there are many things that they don't know. For example, Ernie had never seen a set of stairs in his life. And for a long-legged dog, learning how to get up those stairs can be a complicated process. He learned very quickly. I've had other Greyhounds that it's taken a week to teach them how to get up the stairs independently.
Right.
And some other things that they don't know is they have never seen windows or sliding glass doors, so you have to take them around and put their nose up to them and show them that it's a solid surface.
Oh.
And they don't know about slippery floors, can sometimes be confusing for them. And the other thing that is that they've never been alone in their lives.
Right, you were telling me that you don't get a Greyhound and the next day leave the house.
Correct.
And leave them alone.
You should, when you bring them in, plan a time when you have some time off from work, certainly at least a long weekend, so that you can get them used to the house and used to the fact that you may leave, but you'll be coming back.
Yeah, that must be pretty scary for them if, you know, and they also live in kennels, like a
very small kennel. They spend a lot of their time in there. So when you bring them in, putting them in a crate to keep them safe initially is usually a very wise thing to do, because they have to learn about the house and they have to learn about what's safe for them and what's not safe for them. They also have to learn about food as well.
Really?
As odd as it sounds, but if you think of it, every time that Ernie had seen food, it was his. It was his to eat. So he had to learn the difference between his food and my food. And they're very smart. They learn it very quickly, but you just have to be attentive to that. They're tall dogs, and they can get just about anything in your kitchen.
Oh, okay.
So you need to be aware that they're very food-driven initially, and they need to learn about that.
Well, how are they with children?
They're excellent with kids. Ernie just loves little ones. He is one of our dogs that goes into schools and teaches kids about Greyhounds, about the breed, and about the dog. And one of the reasons he's so fussy right now is he thinks he's going to see a bunch of little kids. They do have one, and I think it's true of every dog, one thing that for most Greyhounds you never want to do is disturb them when they're in a deep sleep. And I think that's true of every dog.
Right.
But for Greyhounds especially, again, if you think about their past life, they've lived in a safe, comfortable, well, not comfortable, but a very safe, enclosed space, and no one has ever intruded in that space when they've been asleep. Now, that's not a good thing to do. It's a good
Well,
one.
he probably wants to do something.
Yeah, he does.
He sounds like he has a lot he wants to say, and we're just not letting him do it. So he's going to moan a little bit about it. But that's okay. He's perfectly fine. Well, you know, you're getting a dog when he's older, and there are a lot of things that, almost like a puppy, it's like a little puppy. You're starting all over again with an older dog. who also has some traits that he has to stop probably thinking about.
Yep.
So, but I keep hearing that they're actually a wonderful pet to have.
They are. They're sweet, they're gentle, they're kind, and there's something special about being able to rescue a dog and bring it into your home, and they will pay you back with kindness and love tenfold.
I think that we also talked about greyhounds were good. Aren't they good for people who aren't steady?
We've been placing some with the a aid agency in New England that is working with veterans coming back from Iraq and Afghanistan who are learning to walk on a prosthesis. Greyhounds love to walk. They are pretty solid and steady dogs. So it is giving us a different outlet, a new job for the greyhounds as well.
Yeah, well, he's a good size. I mean, I know that there are smaller greyhounds, but it looks like you could trust leaning with him, you know, walking with him. Probably.
And they're also good in that they love to walk. There's nothing that is that they like better than going out for a good walk, and so we like to think that they also help people get some good exercise as well.
I think he saw something
He
fly
did.
by.
And
Something we didn't see.
that's right. And greyhounds are sight hounds, Barbara, which means that they hunt with their eyes, and they have acuity up to half a mile away. So they are really attuned to seeing movement and focusing on movement.
Yes, because you had told me, I wondered where they came from in the first place. And we were talking about the fact that they were raised on the desert.
Yes. They originally...
See, that was a big surprise. Very big surprise.
Originally from Egypt. One of the reasons that their coat is so minimal. And they are the oldest recognizable breed of dog, traced back about 5,000 years. Very little has changed with the greyhound. The hieroglyphics representation look very much like our modern dog.
Right.
And so if you think of the desert, and they were used as hunters, all they needed was to spot and to be able to chase. So they have very good vision, and they are the fastest dog on the planet. And sometimes the loudest, too. Although they're usually very quiet.
He's just wanting to be part of all this, that's all. Why don't you, there you go. You can lean on me for a little while. Well, yeah, I loved hearing what you were telling me about how old greyhounds were, you know, how far back, I should say, not how old, but there are so many things. Another thing is that you had told me was that they like to sleep a lot.
They do. They are probably the laziest dogs I've ever known. They sleep about 20 hours a day. One of the myths about them is that they're hyperactive, although Ernie may be
well, he's
a little active today. But really what they do is they love to go for a little exercise, a good walk, and then they sleep. And they are big dogs that make themselves very small in a comfortable space.
So then if you're maybe a senior who likes to just watch TV and hang around all day.
You'll have
I shouldn't say that about a senior, anyone, I should say. Then this is the dog for you.
This is a good dog for you, especially if you'd like a companion on the sofa, because they'll get up and lie right next to you, and they'll spend the day there.
Oh, well, that's great. That's a good thing. I like to sit there. Well, so tell us, how do you go about finding, you know, who do you call, and if you wanted to adopt a greyhound?
Well, we have a couple of good sources of information. You can visit our website, which is www.greyhound.org.
Okay.
And there you'll find all the information about who we are, the organization. We've been adopting greyhounds now for 27 years, so we are the oldest greyhound adoption agency in the area. And there you can find out a lot of information about greyhounds about the adoption process.
Excellent.
And you can also look at some of the dogs that we currently have at the kennel that are up for adoption.
How many do you usually have in the kennel?
Well, right now we're jammed. I don't even know the exact amount, but we always have around 40 dogs.
At least 40.
And there's a waiting list for dogs to get into the kennel. As soon as one is adopted, others come in. And with the recent end of racing in Massachusetts and in other parts of the country, we're really flooded with dogs, beautiful dogs that need homes.
Well, Ernie, you have a home already. You got to talk to your pals, right? Also, I want to make sure that we give the phone number to call
Sure.
for the Greyhound Friends, and that is 508-435-5969. And just call there and maybe talk to somebody.
Yep.
And if you see Stoddard and Ernie or any one of Stoddard's friends walking down the street, maybe they could stop and ask you.
Oh, anyone with a greyhound loves to talk about them.
I've seen a few around town, and you know, I know I have to say this. I have been to the races, though. I did go to the races because my dad used to like to go when I was a teenager, and we'd go, and the horse races too.
Yeah.
But you know, now hearing about how they live, it's kind of a shock.
It
Kind of
is.
a shock.
We have come a long way in our treatment of these beautiful animals.
Right.
In the last 27, 30 years. It's important, I think, to know both the history of the breed and what was done with them.
Right.
As I mentioned, they are the oldest recognizable breed of dog, and throughout the ancient world, they were revered in Egypt and in Greece and in ancient Rome. And that continued through the Middle Ages, when they were the companions of the kings and queens, the dogs that you see represented in the tapestries and in the art of the ages. And they were so valued that it was illegal for a common man to own a greyhound.
Oh, I see.
And
Well.
Ernie thinks that that is very appropriate, but you and I would not have been able to own a greyhound 300 years ago. And that really kept up until greyhound racing started. And with the start of greyhound racing in the early 1900s, they became the forgotten breed. And they were bred, they were raced, and ultimately they were discarded. And they were discarded in huge, huge numbers.
Wow. Well, block your ears, Ernie. We don't want to hear that. Especially now. Well, now I think this, what Louise has done as far as having the Greyhound Friends, it's a great idea for these dogs and give them a better life.
It gives them a chance at life that they never would have had 30 years ago. And they have, we do a lot to promote both the wonderful temperament of the dogs, their great nature. We are out in schools presenting educational programs to children, which teach them not just about greyhounds, but also about the importance of being kind to animals.
That's a good idea. So they, in a sense, are also service dogs.
Yep, I like to think that I've given Ernie another job.
Right.
One that he embraces and really loves.
Yeah,
Don't you, buddy?
And I imagine that they're not around children a lot when they're racing.
Not initially, and it's always interesting when they first start seeing little kids at the kennel.
Oh, really?
Because they've never seen little ones. Their whole exposure has been the handlers that they've had, the trainers that they've had, whatever caretakers that they've had. So they're used to being around people, and they're used to being handled by people, but they're not used to little kids.
Yeah.
So it's kind of fascinating to see how they start with that. But eventually, they get to know them really well. Ernie loves going into schools. He loves meeting kids, and the kids adore him. They hang all over him.
And it's good that he enjoys it
Oh,
too,
yeah.
Because sometimes, you know, you see a dog this size come in and it's like, oh, I hope he's going to
Yeah,
like it.
well, we have 5 or 6 dogs that will accompany Ernie when we present a educational seminar, and they all are just great with the kids.
Yeah.
And the kids have sometimes not seen a dog this big.
Yeah. Well, he has been great while he's been here today. I mean, he just decides, you know, like he wants to say something, and what's going on here? What am I doing? But and there's no children.
Yeah, and he's looking for his next adventure. He loves going out and visiting people and meeting people.
Well, he is a cutie, and I'm glad that you brought him here. And we're going to be looking forward to seeing him around town when you're taking him for a walk, and also your other greyhounds too.
Yeah.
And everyone, I want you to know that if you're interested in checking on adopting a greyhound or just finding out more about them, then why don't you go to the website that we've mentioned, or call the phone number
Yeah.
that we have here, and we'll show them on camera, and you know,
And come
check
out,
on it.
come out and visit the kennel. The dogs love to have visitors.
Yeah.
Take a greyhound for a walk and
Oh, that's
see
good.
see if any magic happens. That's usually what happens in the adoption process. We suggest a dog or two for someone to take for a walk, and they go out. And we always say that the human doesn't choose the dog chooses the
I
human.
believe it. I believe it. I think all my dogs chose us.
Absolutely.
Well, that's a good idea, everyone. Why don't you think about even going to Hopkinton and going to the kennels and seeing the dogs for yourself. Actually, that's something that I want to do. After reading your article, this was really a great little book here, and I want to go down there and just walk around and see what it looks like and what's going on.
Well, we would welcome you, certainly.
Well, I thank you so much, Stoddard.
Thank you,
for
Barbara.
coming and bringing Ernie, and I really enjoyed meeting him, and I enjoyed meeting you too.
Excellent.
And I hope to see you again.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, what, no kisses goodbye? This month, you might think you're watching Animal Planet, or that this show has gone to the dogs. Well, in this case, that's not a bad thing. I'm happy to introduce Mosby Mac Fisher and his best friends, Larry and Lynda Fisher. In almost every show, I tell you that we have some pretty special people living in our small town. I found that doesn't only apply to humans. Last month, I interviewed Lauren Tracy after seeing her story in the Sunday Boston Globe. Well, our guest today, Mosby Mac, had that honor last July when he too was featured in the Boston Globe. Why was he in the Globe? Well, Mosby is a service ministry dog. What is a service ministry dog? That's what Lynda and Larry are here to tell us. So Lynda, what is so special about Mosby?
Well, Mosby was, or is, fully trained, fully licensed to be a service dog. His specialty is therapy dog for the ministry, and he was chosen by NEEDS, his training organization, for that purpose because they felt he was best suited for that, and he truly is. We visit hospitals, nursing homes, excuse me, shut-ins, and he brings them happiness. They have to be dog people.
Yeah.
He doesn't do anything for people who aren't dog people, but he goes over to their bed and they smile, and if they're able, we tell him up, and he will put his 2 front paws on the bed so that they can pat him, and big smiles break out on their faces, and it makes a difference in their day.
Yeah.
Truly does.
Well, how old is Mosby?
Mosby was born on an auspicious date, I think, June 6, 2006. So that makes him 666. And he will be 4 this June.
And how long have you had him?
since March of it'll be 2 years this March, March 2008.
So what I really want to know, Larry, from the two of you, how did you happen to come to have a service dog?
Well, we've always had dogs in our life, and the last dog we had, that was ours, passed away after 15 and a half years. She was a Brittany. So we got the idea of raising a guide dog puppy, a guide dog for the blind. They call them puppy walkers. And they have people all over the country that do this, and then they go back to the Guide Dog Foundation for their further training. Well, it turned out that Georgie didn't make it. Only half of them do, because it's a very rigid program, and they have to be very self-sufficient, and they have to be able to obey and disobey on command. And he was very headstrong, and he learned everything he was supposed to learn, but he just wanted to do things his way. So they took him back, and so they were without a dog again. So Linda got the idea on having a service dog, a therapy dog. So she can tell you how that came about, because that was her idea in the first place.
Yeah, so, I mean, when you decided to do this, and you're going to contact someone and say that you're interested,
Right.
what do they say to you? What do they make you do?
A little background, I am a deaconess in my church, the Baptist Church at Littleton Common.
Okay.
And Larry had been talking to our minister, who, like all clergy people, are busy, don't have enough time in the day to do everything they want to do. And one thing she said is she is backlogged on her visiting sick people. So I thought, since I'm a deaconess in the church and one of the duties is supposed to be to visit sick people, I thought if we had a therapy dog for the ministry, it would add another element to our visiting, and we could help Debbie out by visiting people that don't need pastoral guidance, but just a cheerful visit.
Right.
And we would get a dog, a wonderful dog, fully trained, and it would work out a win-win situation for everybody. And that is actually how it turned out. I applied to Needs, his organization. They're headquartered in Princeton, Mass. And I asked if I could have a therapy dog for the ministry. We only give them out to clergy. And I said, well, I'm a deaconess in my church, and as such, I have to visit sick people. Well, let me pass it by my supervisor. The next day, I got a call. You're in. Well, first I had to go for an interview. Right. And let me tell you, I was more afraid of that interview. I was nervous.
Yeah, I imagine.
But they vetted me, and they said, yeah, you'll do. And the interviewer said there are basically two kinds of therapy dogs that they train. One is an outgoing type that enters a room and immediately takes over. Right. He's there. The other kind will walk in with the handler and look around and wait to be invited, basically. So they wanted to show me each kind and for me to just walk around in the training room to get a feel so that they could see what kind would be best suited for me. Well, the first thing they brought in was this great big glump of a golden retriever. And the trainer brought him in, sat him down, and immediately these big golden grin. Oh, my heart melted right there. But I went over to him and I was polite and I patted him. And when he rolled over on his back for a belly rub, I said, that's it, I was gone. But we took him up to the training room and I walked around and I saw how he could heel and sit and down and stay. And he was a true gentleman. And they said, well, this is one type. Now we'll give you the other type to walk around. And that was little black Nora. And she was a sweetheart. But there was nothing. Just zip. Nothing there at all. Nice doggy, and that's it. So,
well, I think it's because Mosby and you matched very well.
We did. And I didn't know.
Personality-wise.
I didn't know it would be Mosby because they kept on saying, this is an example.
And
God made the match.
God made the match.
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
He really did.
Yeah.
I left there. Oh, I went home and I gobbled to him about Mosby, nothing about Nora. And they called me up about a week later to say I had been accepted, and I said, "Oh, great!" And she gave me the training dates because I had to go for a week of training. And then she said, "Oh, by the way, you'll be matched with Mosby." I was ecstatic, and I think I shrieked on the phone.
Oh, cute, cute.
Yeah, but he
Maybe
and I
Mosby
were-
shrieked too.
Yes, I think so. I think
he
so.
does.
Yeah, he and I were just made for each other.
Yeah, right. He's
Yeah,
kind of like.
yeah. Although now it's Larry who is the light of his life.
Yeah.
Really, truly.
Yeah, well, my dog's like that with my husband, or
Yeah.
I
Well,
should
I
say
spent-
his dog now.
Yeah,
I spend
yeah.
time with him, take him for walks and so forth.
Sure.
And spend time going through his routines and keeping him up to date and sharp.
It's a guy thing.
Yeah.
It is. Well, because he's the early
Especially the
riser,
walking.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he gets up first in the morning, lets him out, feeds him his breakfast.
Yeah, yeah.
I get to feed him his supper.
Look how nice he is right now.
He is.
Yeah,
he
he's
is.
a good boy.
Yes.
Do you want to say what needs actually means, as far as...
I would love to. NEEDS is a great organization, and they take dogs from various places. They have breeders who will donate puppies. Now, NEEDS is nonprofit totally.
Okay.
And in this environment, they're having a hard time, but still. But they take in puppies from breeders. After the breeders have evaluated the litter and think, well, this won't make a particular show dog, but it would make a good service dog. And the puppies go into what they call the puppy house. And they're there for a few months. And professionals evaluate those puppies. And even at a tender age of a couple of months old, they can tell if a puppy's going to be too timid or maybe too aggressive. And from the puppy house, the puppies go to puppy raisers who start basic training, housebreaking, of course, and basic obedience training. Now, Mosby was a prison dog.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
Yes, he was a prison pup. He went to the Rhode Island State Prison. Now, as you know, the prisoners don't get to go to a lot of places that these dogs should be socialized for. So on the weekends, a family took him, and they gave him a train ride, they took him shopping, and the family that had him were both, well, she was a teacher and he's a principal of a middle school. So their daughter, Leah, was in the middle school, and Mosby got to be her date for her prom.
Oh, cute.
So he's a party animal.
Well, he's not looking that way right now,
I know.
but I imagine so. So, well, that was
Yeah, and
interesting.
then, so after the puppy raisers finish with him, he goes back to NEEDS for further evaluation and for further training. And then they say, yes, he would be good for this, that. They train dogs to assist wheelchair people, deaf people or hard of hearing people, stability, people that need stability.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, and they have a special harness so that if the person feels woozy or off balance, they can grab the harness. And the dogs are all trained for these particular things. But the dogs are trained for everything. And then they decide, well, this dog is better suited to be a hearing dog.
Okay.
Or this dog is better suited for a wheelchair person. So they fine-tune the dogs. And in their training of him, they said, you know, he's not going to just sit there and pay full attention to his handler. He loves everybody.
Yeah.
So that's when they thought, I think he'd be good for the ministry because he loves everybody and he brings everybody a little good cheer.
Yes, he seems like he really is a very nice, sweet dog.
He is, after the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, yeah. Well, he
no.
said hello. He said
Yes.
hello.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
has to do
yeah,
that much anyway.
And this is what he does. We take him to church every Sunday, and he just lies there in church. And,
I've actually, since I met you last time, have talked to people who have seen him at Donlands,
oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
seen him shopping.
Yes, he's quite a hit there.
Yeah?
They
Yeah.
all
He has
love
quite a few friends there.
Yeah.
And you say that you can take him to restaurants or any place at all.
we have.
Yeah,
We
we've done
have.
that, yeah.
Yeah, very good. And he can go to a restaurant and not worry, and you don't worry about him saying, "Wait a minute, that's my meal."
No, that's right.
No, he's good. He's been very well trained, and he remembers it. As soon as we get into a restaurant, we sit down, and he's under the table because that's what he was trained to do.
That's
under the table, and he stays there.
Yeah.
And we never feed him except in his own dish. He only gets dog food. He doesn't get people food. He doesn't get snacks from the table. So he knows that now.
Yeah, we all should do that with our pets, but I know that
Although-
we're bad about
Well,
that.
yeah, that's it. But he's not above trying to see what's been on the floor.
Yeah, yeah,
And especially in church at coffee hour after worship service. He's always looking at the floor because the kids drop crumbs with cookies.
And he's on a diet, that doesn't help.
Yeah, he's on a diet. He's on a diet now. Yeah.
Well, I'm sure that when he goes to a nursing home or to a home or wherever, people are happy to see him. It makes you feel good just to
It does.
pet the dog and,
It's amazing when we go places like down Donlands or any place where there's a crowd of people and we tell them what we do with him. And they thank us and they give us instances where their parents or their grandparents would wait for the dog to come in. And some people say their grandparent would count the days till the dog came in for a visit.
oh, see?
So he really is appreciated.
Yes, I think so. I appreciate just meeting him
Of course, the
anyway.
nurses like him as well as the patients.
Oh,
sure.
It takes a while to get to the patient.
Yeah, but, and he can be around cats, no?
Well, we don't have a cat. Not that I don't want one. But he was socialized with cats because in the two families that he was raised in, they each had cats. So I don't know how long his memory is.
No,
but-
I don't think he'd be too good around a cat in the house right now.
Yeah, yeah.
He would get used to it if he was in the house.
Do you ask
after a
that
few
question
minutes.
before you go someplace?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have a cat? Do you have another dog? How protective is the dog?
Yeah.
You know, there are a lot of places that we don't visit just because we've heard they had a dog and the dog is particularly ornery. Now, some dogs just don't want another dog in their house.
True.
And so we pick and choose who we visit.
Okay.
And we would like to visit more people in Littleton than just the people we know from our church relationship.
Good. Do you have a number that they could call
Well,
to get in touch with you?
let's see. I have his business card, which I can leave you with.
Okay.
But our number is 978-486-4932.
Good.
And he can be reached by the church, too, the First Baptist Church, and don't ask me the number.
We'll get it. We'll get it.
Yes, yeah. And he can be reached that way.
Okay.
And people that are online, if they go to fbclittleton.org, brings you into the church's web page, and from there's a link to Mosby's page.
Okay.
So, you know, there are various ways to reach him.
Great. Well, you know what, Larry and Lynda, I want to thank you so much for being here on the show.
Oh, pleasure.
And I especially want to thank Mosby for being here.
Say
and,
woof.
And for those of you out there, don't forget to hug a senior, because Mosby does. If you're interested in knowing more about the Greyhounds, you can call Louise Coleman at 508-435-5969 and talk to her. And if you want to know more about Mosby, then you can call Larry or Lynda Fisher at 978-486-4932. So what do you think, Ben? You going to watch my show this month? How can we get you excited about the Wii game? It's not hard if you're curious. Oh, Back up.
So please do join us, and we're going to have to do this tape again because I've made too many boo-boos.